This podcast provides a platform that will share many different points of views that should empower you, uplift you, make you want to go out and do right. When you hear the term still a man, say, yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Let's go.
What's up, people? Welcome to another edition of the Still a Man podcast. Today, we are having a closed door discussion, men only. So, to be honest with you guys, this is the initial format. This is what Still a Man was initially designed to be, an open forum for men to discuss issues that we are concerned about. So today we're gonna hit a hot topic. So guys, this is one of those sink or swim situation. So take a deep breath and we're just gonna dive right in. All right. Today we're gonna be talking about abortion. And even more importantly, should men have a say when it comes to abortion? So that we can speak intelligently about this topic, I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys a couple of definitions for the word abortion. So one of the first ones are the removal of an embryo or a fetus from the uterus to end pregnancy. And then another states that it is the deliberate termination of human pregnancy. This is usually allowed during the 24 weeks, so within 24 weeks of the human pregnancy. Sometimes they allow beyond that. Now, based upon a Supreme Court ruling in 1973, what is it, Roe versus Wade?
Yes, sir.
They determined that all abortions are legal in U.S. states. So that means all across the American land, abortions are legal. Now,
right.
But
did you see that they was trying to stop abortion? And the Republicans were advocating and trying to push a bill to stop abortion, and some of them southern states were trying to get civilians involved by saying, if you see anybody having abortion, they even put out money reward, like a $5,000 reward if you snitch on somebody who's doing abortion or somebody who had an abortion.
Okay, and saying that brings me to my next point. So it really has become a battle of wills. Like two different entities in most situations. You have people that are pro-life versus pro-choice. Right? So that's what it comes down to.
Yes.
Let's just jump right in it. And Gregory, you wanted to give us a little background regarding eugenics and the mother of birth control? Because this plays a big part in this.
When you get into the pro-life thing, the pro-life, pro-choice thing, and you start to look at the background of everything that's going on and the founders of the movement, it all starts to get into birth control and Planned Parenthood and the founders of that, which are people that believe in this thing called eugenics, where they believe feeble-minded and unsuperior people, inferior people are not supposed to have babies, basically. So the movement of the abortion rights people, the people that had the movement for the abortion rights, basically are people that are racist a little bit. So it gets tricky there as to a reason why there's so many Planned Parenthoods and we have a higher rate of abortions in a minority pool.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask you to cite your sources. Where are you getting this information from?
I'm getting this information from Wikipedia, and these are actually legal documents that you can look up. Even in the Roe versus Wade case, you have the Planned Parenthood people that are representing the client Jane Roe, which isn't even her real name. So it's a lot behind that. I don't know if they was trying to get us into believing that this is the right thing to do, but they have convinced a great deal of our people that abortions is something that should happen. And I don't think that men really have a say in it. It has more to do with politicians and the thought process that they gave the women that are leading these movements.
Okay, so let's talk about the politicians. So I've read and I've heard discussions about it's what is it, 70% or 71% men that are politicians that are heading up these charges. Do you
So
have
it
any
says
sources?
the Reflective Democracy Campaign, out of the 42,000 elected offices in America, 71% are held by men. Even
Mhm.
more staggering, 90% of those positions are held by whites.
By white men.
And
Yeah.
65% of those 42,000 are white men, and white men make up only 31% of the US population.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, women make up 51% of the population. The organization compared data from elected officials in the summer of this is the organization compared data from the elected officials in the summer of 2014 and the recent census data, my fault.
Okay, so again, let's get right down to it. So these are individuals making decisions about communities that they don't reside in.
Right.
Also, they're making decisions about people, women that don't reside in their homes.
Right.
They basically don't have anything to do it. But let me tell you guys, upon researching this topic, I was on YouTube and I was reading things and I was listening, watching videos and stuff. And the women are very adamant about this is not a discussion that should be had with men.
Right.
Like it's solely their choice. So they're saying
Because
their body, their decision.
yes.
So
Just like
I want to.
they wouldn't be able if the roles were reversed. Like say if the woman came to you and said to you, "Hey, I think you should get your get get your
Say it
so you
again.
won't have no more
Vasectomy.
kids. Get a damn vasectomy,
Get
right?
snipped.
You're right, get snipped, so you won't have kids no more. Now that wouldn't you would say no. You can't tell me not to have no more kids. That has to be for me. I think it's a conversation for both parties to have and agree on it. But I don't think that women should say that, oh, it's my body, because we can say the same thing. Like you had a part into making that baby, but just because she's carrying it doesn't make her the soul, to say I can get rid of it or keep it, because you have women that guys say, oh, get rid of it. He done gave her money to have an abortion and whatnot, and then she turned around and went and bought clothes and stuff for the baby, and walking around act like she got an abortion and didn't even tell him, you know. And so therefore, I think it's a communication between both parties, and it's got to be a 50-50 decision down the line for both to say yes or no.
Okay, so before we go any further, because you're clear about your stance, I would say this. So, to all those watching at home and all those participating, I have to make this clear to everybody in attendance. These are the views of the participants, the attendees, and their views alone. They no way reflect the views, the beliefs, the perspective of the host or the Still a Man podcast show. So with saying that, let's continue. Let's go to Sean. Sean, how do you feel about abortion and that our female counterparts feel strongly about this is an individual decision that should be made only by the female?
I'm conflicted in it for the simple fact that for my belief and how I am being a Christian, I'm supposed to be against the bitch.
Mm-hmm.
But me personally, and that's where I think I'm wrong based on my Christianity, but I don't have a problem with abortion one way or the other.
Yes, yes.
And for me, as a man who may have been in a situation and about to have a child, and with a woman that either you don't want the child or you don't want to have a child with that woman, I welcome the fact that if this is a solution, then let's go for it. But on the other hand, as far as a woman saying that she should have the sole right to be able to determine whether or not she has an abortion or not, I don't agree with that for the simple fact. I believe a man, if you and he are in a relationship, or even just you guys you're messing around and made a mistake. I know
but Sean, excuse me for cutting you off, but Sean, you are a part of that. That is your seed in her. You see,
I was going there.
Hold on, guys, for a minute. Just for Sean, you sound a bit muffled. Can you turn up your volume?
All right, hold on.
Because I want to make sure the viewers hear you clearly, because you are making some good points.
All right. You guys can hear me clearer now?
Yes,
so
sir.
All right, cool.
If you could just like go back to what you said, like start over a bit.
Yep, no problem. So I stated that I was conflicted because for my beliefs, being a Christian, I'm supposed to be against abortion. Abortion is not an option in our faith. But as a human being, as a man, if ever caught in that situation and I was not a fan of it, I don't have a problem with abortion one way or the other. And what I mean by that is, if you and the young lady, you guys are either in a relationship or get caught up, whatever the case may be, and an abortion is one of the options to where neither of you are willing to have that child, then I don't have a problem with that. And now I'm gonna skip up to where you asked the question about should it be a woman's sole right, responsibility, and only authority to be able to make that decision. I do not believe so, for the simple fact that you and a man created this soon to be person, and although she may, let's say she doesn't want to have the baby, I believe that he should have the right to be able to, go to court and say, okay, fine, you don't want to have the baby, but I would like to have the baby. Let's go to court now. But he needs to be able to. This is my opinion that if a man fights a woman that she should have a child, he should be prepared to
Yes.
take care of that child without her help.
Yes.
So so that once she has that baby, the responsibility and the care of that child falls on him. And those are guidelines that I think that should fall under if a man is able to go to court and force or legally obtain the rights to make a woman have a child that she does not want.
Right.
Isn't that kind of taboo though? Because if the woman decides that she wants to have the baby and the man was saying, "Oh, I want you to have an abortion because I don't think I'm ready," he can't be on the sideline and not have nothing to do with the kid and while she's prepared to take care of the kid by herself. That's kind of taboo, right?
No, because what that does is, not to jump off of subject of what we've talked in the past, but that's where you can go to court and give up your parental rights.
So let me say this to you guys. So how do you guys feel about and then Robert, I want to come to you and Gregory and get you guys' perspective too. So how do you feel about these individuals to say you can't straddle the fence? You have to choose a side. Either you're pro-life or you're pro-choice. What do you say? So what would you consider yourself to be? Now, Timmy and Sean, because I've already heard you guys' view, I want to get Gregory and Robert's, and then I want to come back and ask you guys if you choose to divulge, disclose, if you are.
I think it's kind of crazy because even from like a religion, I'm not really all the way religious, but I believe in God and stuff. So when they say you can't straddle the fence, and I feel like I should be hopping back and forth over the fence because I know it's different circumstances where, okay, maybe she's been raped and she needs to have this abortion, or maybe this is a bad relationship and she shouldn't be having this baby with this man and she needs to have the abortion. And then I feel like you shouldn't be out here just having sex and getting abortions because this is just ungodly. Now you're almost a psychopath. Are you a serial killer? Because you're basically killing life over and over again. So I'm kind of back and forth on it. It's a hard topic to really stick your hands all the way in the pot.
So is it fair to say, if you was told to take a stance and pick one, are you saying that you can't?
If I was if I had to choose, I would say that I would eliminate the abortion thing, but we would have a whole bunch of stuff we would have to eliminate before we just eliminate abortion completely, because we would want there to be like a law where if you rape somebody, you die. You get what I'm saying? And then the woman wouldn't have to be worried about, oh, we need abortion because people get raped. You get what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure the rape rate would go way down in child molestation or anything that is leading to pregnancy, of unwanted pregnancy, something like that.
Okay, so your turn, Robert.
How do I feel about abortions? It doesn't bother me that if a woman is not prepared to bring life into this world and they're doing it for all the right reasons. I say my concern would be if they was going to school and it was going to hinder them from getting their education without waking up in the morning with morning sickness, aches and pains, concerned if dad wants the child with them or not. I always said in my situation, I gave them the benefit of a doubt. Do you have a career you're looking forward to trying to get going, or do you want to go back to school and take up a trade? Are we financially set or ready for this child to come in the world? If we had one, do you think you can have another? And if you're not ready to provide for another, like we was fortunate to do for the one we already have, then there's a decision to be made. Yeah, 50-50. If both of us on the same page and I say
Mm-hmm.
yay and you say yay,
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with that.
Mm-hmm.
There's times that I might not be in agreement with you. I might feel that I'm ready to have another child because I lay down in that bed with you and plant to make baby. And then you can wake up 3 weeks from now and say, oh, I'm not ready. And then now I'm still ready. I was ready when I laid down there at the beginning to make child. Um, that's very concerning to me now because I feel like you are ripping a part of my dream or my want from me. And I've been there. I mean, I watched abortions take place. And it didn't leave me with a good feeling. It felt like if I lost something that I was, you know, ready to have in my world again. So it's like it's a wishy-washy situation right there. I can say yeah for the woman because I know it's her body. She's carrying this child.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be respectful of that. It puts them through changes, not only physically, mentally. They go through a lot. So I'm on the fence with them if it's good for them, and then at the same time, I feel my loss too. So it's kind of hard.
Okay. So, if someone said to you, you have to take a stance, you have to choose a side,
Mhm.
either you're pro-life or you're pro-choice, which would be your choice?
I will be for life.
Okay. Timmy, same question.
I'm pro-choice because I feel like I told you from the beginning, it's a 50-50 thing. You have to have conversation. And once the two parties find out that we're pregnant, okay, now we sit down and we have a conversation. And from my experience, I'm pretty sure everybody that had kids has sat down with their partner and discussed it. Okay, you pregnant? Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Or we're gonna decide we're gonna have this kid or abort it. So it's a 50-50 decision with both
Okay.
parties
Okay.
at all times. So in communication and conversation is the key.
So,
Okay.
Uncle T, can I say this to you? Don't you think it would be detrimental to be pro-life then, because it would change the sexual activity? Like we would be having more of a mature sexual active population than having
Well,
people just having sex and being and not prepared to have a baby and having to have that talk when that should be the talk when you're about to have sex anyways, because you're
yeah,
gonna
but
be having sex to procreate or you're using a condom because you know that this can happen. You get what I'm saying?
right. But see, that's a woman's right. You understand that? And Congress and the Republicans are trying to take that right from the woman to decide whether she wants to have a kid or don't want to have a kid. That whether
I
whether
think it would
we
make for
whether
more
we whether
careful
we
people.
as men like it or not, it is their body. But like I told you from the start, you have to have conversation and communication in order to come to some agreement or disagreement, but you have to come to in the middle where we both decide on what's best. Now I'm not saying you have to abort the baby. You can get the baby up for adoption for people who can't have kids. You see?
Okay. Okay. That's a good solution. Okay, so let's go to Sean. Sean, how do you feel about individuals that say you have to take a stance, you have to make a choice, either you're pro-life or you're pro-choice?
I would be pro-life.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So that's Gregory. So I didn't really get your stance. So Timmy, you're pro-choice. Sean, you're pro-life. Rob is pro-life.
I'm
Um,
pro-life. I'm definitely pro-life, Uncle Dick.
okay. So I will say this, and let's break down some scenarios. So Timmy, you kept saying 50-50, 50-50. So that's how you would think it would be in a normal situation, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you said we are pregnant. So in a situation where you have somebody that this young lady or this woman that's decided that this is my decision and my decision alone, we is not a part of the equation. It's not a dual decision. It's not a couple decision. It's a me thing as opposed to a we thing. So now they're not open to any discussions that involve themselves and someone else. So that's a hard conversation.
Because,
Now,
like you said, her body, her choice. So that
uh,
makes sense what you just said.
but wait. Now let's do this. Let's say you're in a relationship with this individual. You're in a committed relationship. You've been with her for a while, or
Mm-hmm.
you've been married, or you just been in a committed relationship, monogamous relationship. There's no one else. It's just you two, and the baby comes about. And let's use the marriage example. Let's say your wife becomes pregnant, and you are happy. You're all for it, and she says to you, I do not want to go through with this pregnancy because I have my career that I need
Mm-hmm.
to think about. How do you guys feel about that? Let's go with Timmy first.
Well, some I seen that, and then I seen situations like that, and then their career done consumed them so much that they start getting older, and then they start saying to themselves, like, I think I'm ready to have a kid now, but my career is so much involved. To me, it's your choice, but I think uh creating another life is a beautiful thing, and is God's gift to man and woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so so for me, I've seen a lot of that stuff going on where women do choose their careers over the kids, having kids, and some of them regret it. You know, the ones that want to have kids, they regret it, or they came to terms that I'm just not going to have no kids.
Okay. So, Sean, how you feel about it? You're in a committed relationship or you're married, and we said we're gonna go with the marriage. And you learned that you and your wife are expecting. Um, and she doesn't want to go through with the pregnancy because she's concerned about how it's going to affect her career. What type of conversation is that?
And that conversation that she and I would end up having is um, that we would have to sit down and I would respect the fact that You know, she doesn't want to. If having a child, she thinks is going to be something that's going to hold her back from her career. I would have to promise her and assure her that I will take on full responsibility of that child, meaning that we're still married, we're still doing what we do, but because I'm the one who wanted this child, I'll be the sole provider, responsible person for it. Like all the duties that require her, that it would be understood between us that her career comes before our child. I know
Okay.
that sounds wild, but that's pretty much what it is.
Right.
And I would be okay with that if
Mhm.
that's where we were in the situation.
Right. Like you mentioned, and like I've been saying, you have to have conversation and sit and talk. Without any of this communication, then you're in the limb, and nobody telling each other what they really feel. So that's why I said you have to have conversation. In this type of situation, it's got to be a sit down conversation. You have to have that.
Okay. Let's get Robert's perspective. You're married. You learned that you and your wife are having expecting a baby, and she's adamant she does not want to have this child because she feels that it's going to interfere with her career. It's going to bring it to an abrupt halt. How do you feel about that?
Well, I would try to do everything in my power to ensure her that if she decides to have this baby for us, even if she feels that it's going to interfere with her career, that I am definitely going to be there 100%. She's going to continue to strive towards her career or work in her career. I will be there with child at the home, taking care of all the bottle feeding, changing the diapers, probably cleaning and cooking for her and myself and home. It just be a reassurance that she has a rock to fall back on. I'm not gonna leave her out there thinking that she's all alone.
Mm-hmm.
Even if she wasn't pregnant and we talked about having a baby, and she was already in her career working towards it, or in her career working, I would tell her, if you decide to get pregnant, it will be the same results. I'm going to do the bulk of the work for us so you can feel as comfortable as you need to be as a woman in your career. I'm not blocking you for your dreams or from it. I just think that I'm there. I'm a supporter.
Okay. So, Gregory, same scenario. You're married. Your significant other tells you she's pregnant and she does not want to follow through with the pregnancy because she does not want it to interfere in her career. So, how do you feel about that?
I'm gonna say that sounds like a hard choice, but so is life. Life is hard, so I wouldn't want you to just think that if you get rid of my child, this is gonna make it easier for your career to continue. I'm gonna try to ensure you that I'm going to be there for you throughout the whole time, through the pregnancy, after the pregnancy, so you can go get yourself back into the work field and get back out there the way that you wanted to be out there, and everything is taken care of at home. Because I know if that's not happening, then something bad could happen to this baby that I'm trying to have you have, because you might go through postpartum or some crazy type of psychological breakdown. So I
Okay.
definitely would think the conversation would have to be there.
So, it from all of you guys' response, you guys sound like some selfless individuals. So, you're willing to put her career and her feelings before anything else. So I think we just got a new participant. Welcome, Greg. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about abortion, and should men have a say when it comes down to abortion? So we was just having a scenario where the man he just learned that his wife was pregnant and she did not want to have the baby due to her career. So,
Pops, you gotta turn your mic on.
so if we can you hear us, Greg? All right,
He's
give him a
connecting.
chance.
He's connecting audio.
All right, give him a chance, and then we'll come back to him. So let's go ahead and switch up the scenario a bit. So, scenario, you learn after your significant other, your woman, she's had an abortion. She did not tell you. You found out via, let's say you found out from one of her family members. Yeah, let's create the scenario. Your woman, your wife, your girlfriend, your mate, sister is dating your friend or your brother, and your brother is the one that brought it to your attention that he learned that your significant other had an abortion and did not tell you. Obviously, she did not tell you because he's learned
He
about
told
it. So
you.
he's telling you after the fact. He overheard it in the conversation, or his significant other brought it to his attention, and now he's bringing you up to date. Let's go to Robin. How do you feel about a woman that has decided that this is an individual decision and she goes out and have the abortion and she does not tell you, and you learn of it from someone else outside of your mate? How do you feel about that?
There's two ways I can feel about it. First, I'm gonna go with what I already said at the beginning. It's her body, it's her mental state. Physically, she's gonna have changes within her own body, and her mindset might be a little bit different than it was before she became pregnant. If she thought that that was the best thing for her, and she might have been too scared or embarrassed to share it with me, being the one that made child with her, I would have to try to sit down and, like Timmy and Gregory keep saying, have a conversation that probably was well overdue or needed in regards to her making a decision on her own. And I would try to see if I can find it in my heart to respect that decision she made on her own, if it was based on both of our best interests at heart or at hand. But then there's another way I can look at it. She was just being selfish and considerate of my feelings, or how I would have definitely took it as a loss because I was expecting to have an addition or a new member, you would say, or just the first time having a child. It would kind of affect me in a way that I would look at her as being selfish. And it'll be a conversation we will have, but it will be a little bit different than the first conversation I was talking about. It would just be based on you didn't care. You didn't care about my heart, my feelings.
Yes, because in this scenario, you don't even know of it until after she had completed the process. The only way you're learning of this is because your brother has brought this to your attention based upon a conversation he had with his significant other, who got the information from your significant other.
Which is rightfully so.
You would have never known.
Right.
You would have never known.
So it becomes troublesome. It becomes like it will bother your mind real bad in the worst way. So I do say you have to find it on either one side of the scale. Either you're gonna find in your heart to forgive her, and just work with that was in her best interest, or you can take it that she was just being selfish.
I also believe that, you know, she probably had signs that told her this is not the right time. You know, some people get those inklings or signs that this ain't right. I shouldn't do this right now. I should wait.
But is that a deal breaker upon learning about her decision from someone else? How do you feel about that? She did not tell you about her decision. She did not even tell you about the pregnancy.
Well, you know,
It could
that
be
that
because
yeah,
it's like it could be because it's like based on, do we
trust.
still have trust? Do
Yes,
we still honor each other? Do we still have respect?
right.
Do you love me? Do you even care much
Mm-hmm.
about my feelings to take the
Exactly.
time out and come to me first? I'm the one that laid in the bed with you. We made this child together. Or
Right.
I can take it to this level and say, was you for certain that it was mine?
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
mm.
it's gonna raise a lot of questions. Like,
Questions, yes.
how many times have you done this before, too?
Okay. All right, Sean, go on, jump right in there.
Yep. Before the brothers said all that last part, while everyone was spewing their other stuff, that's where my mind was at on all that last part. It would raise the question to me: what is our relationship really like? That you're getting pregnant and you don't even tell me about it. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Then number two, you go and have an abortion without even letting me know, and then I find out secondhand by accident.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm,
So that's three levels of a trust issue right off the board for me.
mhm,
And so without repeating what the brothers did, that last bit that Timmy and Gregory just said would be the things that are in my mind. Well, damn, well, was that my child? Well, how
mhm,
many times have this happened before?
Yeah, her
And like,
character.
and then on top of that, what other stuff is going on in our relationship that I'm not aware of?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes a trust issue for me.
So
Definitely.
let's stay right there. Let's change up the situation a little bit, the scenario.
Mhm.
You guys are planning, you're having problems in your relationship. You want to have a baby, and for some reason y'all are struggling to make it come about. Um, there's been some infidelity. She there's been some cheating on both hands, on both sides, the man and the woman. And the baby, you finally get pregnant. She finally gets pregnant. And now you guys are happy about it. Or so you thought that you was happy about it. Let's say 24 weeks into the pregnancy, she decides that she's going to have an abortion, and she does not tell you. She just goes and terminates the pregnancy and does not tell you. You are still under the impression that she is still pregnant, but she has decided for whatever reason, unbeknown to you, that she is going to terminate this pregnancy. Sean, you go first. How do you feel about that situation?
Same as I did from the last scenario that you gave out. What is it about our relationship that you felt like you can go and do something like this without letting me know about it?
Mm-hmm.
Like that to me, that speaks volumes on where we are in our relationship for that
Mm-hmm.
individual to even be comfortable to do something like that, regardless of what the repercussions are going to be. Because I know you're on a subject, but it's a deeper issue there.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
You know what I
because
mean?
that's
So,
that's that's what happens a lot of times. People try to make these topics, these subjects, clear cut. It's not
mhm.
clear cut. There's
Yeah.
environmental factors, there's economic factors, there's psychological,
Hmm.
there's mental health issues. All that comes
Hmm.
into play.
Hmm.
So it's not as clear as cut as everybody would like to make it, like choose a side. I mean, because I think that you can be pro-choice depending on the situation and circumstance.
Yep,
And
and
you can be
that's me.
pro-life based upon the
Pro-life
situation
based on the
and then the individual that you're dealing with too.
Yep.
So
Yes.
let's go ahead and dive deeper.
So
Now, what happens in the situation, because with except Gregory, all of us have daughters. So now you feel you learned that your daughter becomes pregnant at a young age. Mom and daughter brings it to your attention. And mom feels like that she should get an abortion. The daughter should get an abortion. And your daughter wants to have the child because she's in love, so she believes, with her mate. Now, mind you, your daughter is only 13 years old. She's a teenager.
my God.
She's an adolescent, young. She's not 18. She's 13 years old. She's gotten pregnant. And now it's brought to your attention, and you're clear about what your wife wants to do, and you're clear about what your daughter wants to do. Do we have a say in this situation? Let's start with Gregory.
I believe that we should have a say in this situation, because if she ends up having the baby, she's basically raising her own little sister. And then if she has the
Wait, stop. Let me be clear about this. I think you might have misunderstood me. She's not pregnant by the dad.
No. I'm saying she's having her own little sister because of her age. She's only 13 years old. And when she raises this kid, she's only 13 years older than she's still a kid herself. So it's basically
but that ain't her sister though.
No, it's not her sister, but the way
I just want to be
the child's
I
gonna
just
be
want to be
raised
clear
by the
about that.
grandparents.
That's a whole different scenario. So you're saying she'll just be raising someone young enough to be her sister?
No, I'm saying like the parents are gonna step in for this 13-year-old. So her child essentially is gonna be like her little sister. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying that she's totally.
I get what you're saying. That's if the scenario works out like that way. Because I know for me, as a parent, and my child was sitting in this. I mean, I'm being 100. If we went on and allowed my daughter to have her child, then we're going to guide her on how to be a mother, even though she's still a child. So she will be raising that child as her child, and we wouldn't be raising her because she would know that is her child. And so no, she wouldn't be looked at as that's your sister, because we're going to make sure we're going to treat her like that's our grandchild.
Yeah,
right.
You know, like when a kid grows up in that scenario, and then they say my mother was more like a sister to me because she was so young. Stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
I get what you're saying, but that's only if all the principals involved, the principal parties, allow that to be a situation. Because as Sean said, it's my grandchild. You're my daughter. It's going to be raised as I'm going to continue to parent you, but I'm going to also offer you guidance, as it relates to parenting your child. It's not going to be a situation where we're raising this child
where we just took over completely.
Believe that this is our child. No, this is your child. But you're going to continue to receive parenting, because I do not believe that once a child has a baby, that child automatically becomes mature enough to raise that child. That child need a
that in a sense is what I was talking about.
I got you. That's why I was saying let's make it relate. So, Robert, how you feel about that situation?
Hold on. Let me finish my thought though, real quick.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say if she does have the abortion because me and my wife decided she's not ready to have the kid, there could be an area where she grows up and hates us.
Okay. Robert,
All right, this is how I feel about it. It's two ways. Once again, you're very young. The age of 13, your mind yet has to develop and maturity enough for you to even think you can handle that great depth of responsibility. You most likely you probably don't even have a job. You're still learning how to wipe yourself properly. You probably don't know how to cook or prepare meals. Um, there's a lot of things that she's still learning. So your education, you're still in school. You need to finish school. Um, I can say that I don't. If moms came to me and we sat down with a discussion and she said, I think in her best interest is for her to have an abortion because this and that being the reasons that has strong pros, for me to say, okay, yeah, I'm on board with you. She should not have this baby. And we will sit her down, talk to her, and tell her why these are all the reasons why we don't think it's in your best interest to have a child at this young age because it's not going to be beneficial to your education, still getting your education. This young man that laid in the bed with you and you guys decided to play grown up, house, whatever you might look at it as, he might not be in your life tomorrow or 5 weeks after baby is born. He might think that he's too young and he didn't get to live his life with many other girlfriends that he yet to have. So you could be stuck in a situation where he doesn't want to be a father to your kid because he doesn't know how to be a father. He's still a child himself. So we will prep her for all of these things that she do not want to have to go through after she had a baby at a young age. If moms came to me and said, well, okay, she can have the kid, she lay down and she played grown up to do it, we're going to show her how it ain't easy to raise a child because we don't believe in abortion. So we're going to allow her to have this kid. We're going to coach her, be there for our grandkid first. She's still our daughter, so we still got to raise her. But we're going to teach her how to raise what she brought into this world, not just take over all her responsibilities. We're going to make sure she's able and capable of handling these responsibilities because you thought you was capable of handling grown-up stuff in the bed. We're going to show you how you can really handle grown-up stuff so you can properly raise child.
Okay, so let me say this to you guys. I got to bring you guys back to what I
Thank
said.
you. Thank you.
So, and it's a great discussion, so we're going to keep going. The scenario is mom is against her having a baby. Mom has made the decision to terminate the pregnancy. The daughter wants to have the baby. I asked you, does the man have a say in this situation?
I answer that. Child wants to have kid, mom's against it. Mom says abort child. I'm gonna tell you because that's my wife, and she knows what's best for her daughter that she gave birth to, and we are a team. I'm siding with mom.
Okay. All right. So let's go to Sean.
Well, for me, I'm gonna side with my without. I want to keep it on the scenario that you put it to us as without any background issues or whatever. I would side with my daughter for the simple fact that we won't have to live her life later on knowing that she got pregnant, had an opportunity to have a child, and we made her get an abortion. We don't know what that would do to her in the long run. So that's my thinking. And so I think that is more beneficial to her to have the child, even though I don't want her to. I would want her to have the child, if that makes any sense. Want her to have the child because, number one, because I'm pro-life, and number two, I'm looking at the long run that having a child, I can help her in the situation to where if she had the child and she felt like it was a mistake in the long run, this, that, and the other, at least you'll be able to give the child away, as opposed to getting rid of the child and then going through life regretting that situation,
With the
but never
mental
having anything
jack-up.
to compensate that.
Okay.
Because at least if she had the child and regretted having the child,
Mhm.
then she could always give the child away, and
Okay.
it would not hinder any whatever it is that she wanted to do, as opposed to the
Well
other
put.
side.
See,
All
and
right.
that's why I try my best to answer two ways at the beginning. But if you just solely put it on mom is against her having it, then I answer it that way because my first initial answer was let the girl have the baby on one hand. And I'm against giving up anything that I helped create in this world. So if I help create my daughter and any grandchild she brings into this world is my baby. So I don't want to pass in my child for adoption, putting in anyone else's home care. If that's the case, turn over your parental rights to me and I'll be the one to adopt my own grandchild or take over all custody because
Mhm.
it's still in our family.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, guys,
Mm-hmm.
these same women that you guys are giving the benefit of the doubt in a lot of situations, these are the same women that say
Right.
you do not have a decision. So why
Mm-hmm.
is it that they will be open to your
Right.
decision as long as you are agreeing with them? But if you're
Mm.
against their decision, then they don't value your decision. You having a say in the conversation, in the situation, the outcome. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn it up a notch. So let's say, which often happens in our communities, you learn that your minor daughter has had an abortion and you didn't know about it, and the mother and the daughter has decided that that was the best decision, and you're learning about it upon returning home. She's bringing her home after the procedure has taken place. Uh, how do you guys feel like that? Because it automatically, upon learning, you say to them what happened, what took place, why wasn't I informed? Uh, why didn't I have a say in this? No one respected me in the situation, and you are told immediately this is not your body. You don't have a say in the matter. This is a woman's situation. So I made the only decision that needed to be made. How do you feel about that? Timmy, you go first.
Well, of course, mother's gonna side with daughter because she's woman and that's her daughter. Uh, so I'm I might be understanding to a certain extent, but then I'll be upset because you know, as Robert said, we could have put we could have we could both, me and the mother, help raise the kid and until you get yourself together and but first and foremost, 13-year-old ain't got no business having a damn kid. You know, they just don't understand what comes with it. And most of the time they're doing it on account of peer pressure. You know, some of their friends then, you know, might have had sex and got pregnant and say, oh yeah, I was pregnant and they had an abortion. You know, but here's the thing, a 13-year-old can't do nothing unless they have an adult. So whoever the mother or another relative, they're in the wrong for not, you know, confronting the father with it, you know, letting him know about it, you know, because as Robert said, that's his grandchild, that's his daughter, and you do have some type of connection, even though that's the daughter's baby. You see, so I think that's wrong, and I always say, you must have communication with people, and that's the key about everything. Have conversation and talk, because you get nowhere with the back and forth. You get nowhere. All you create with that scenario is headache and heartache. It's a
Okay. Okay, so Sean, let's get your perspective on that. Mom decided that the abortion is the only solution, and they went ahead with the procedure. The procedure's done. You're just learning about it upon your child returning home.
So could we be clear about this?
All right.
You said daughter and mom decided together that was the best
Mom,
decision, right?
Mom decided the only solution is to terminate the pregnancy, and they went ahead and they completed the process. And they have returned home, and you are now learning of this. And she tells you, upon you learning, you're confronting them about it. Mom says, this is a woman's body, this is a woman's situation. You have no say in the matter. How do you feel about this?
All right. So for me, I would feel disrespected. I would feel unwanted in the dynamics of the decision making in that, based off of the fact of what my relationship with my daughters and their mothers are. If that was to happen in my case, in my scenario, I have an open door policy when it comes down to them. So for something like that, life changing to happen, and for them to decide to not include me, again, there is somewhere down the line, something happened between us that made them think that it was okay to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be hurt by that. That is it. Whether I agreed with it or not, I would be hurt because I would be too focused on the fact that they made that decision without even including me.
Gregory?
So I don't know if I answered your question or not,
No,
but
you
that's
did.
just where I would be based off of my relationship with my children and their mom.
Yes.
That was in my scenario.
Yes.
What you said was right. It would be hard for me to understand, because I would feel like, did you do this with malicious intent? Were you trying to hurt my feelings by coming back and telling me that I had no say in this, knowing that this could have potentially been my grandchild, or my daughter could potentially not be able to have kids again? And then something, will I blame you later on, or could this cause problems later on down the line? I would think she would want to think like that, instead of just going ahead and doing it and then telling you after. That's kind of evil.
Robert?
Yeah, I would be thinking something totally went wrong in communication skills. Because if me and mom can lay in the bed and pillow talk, walk through the kitchen, cooking together, talking about all type of topics, and me and my daughter have a relationship where you can come to me and talk about sex, talk about fighting, talk about what makes you happy, talk about what makes you miserable. Where did we go wrong with communication? I would feel let down. I feel that you just wanted to be total disrespectful in regards to my feelings, my concerns, and the love that I thought we shared.
Okay. So let me say this to you guys. Rob is in a situation where you're as the father, you're not, the child doesn't live with you. The mother has custodial, she's a custodial parent. And you learn about this, again, secondhand information. Someone tells you later on, let's say, your
See, I
daughter,
might be ignorant.
your
I
daughter
might
comes
be,
and tells you that your mother took her to get an abortion because she said that they couldn't afford to have a feed another a mouth, and she wasn't going to take that chance. So the only solution that she felt was to have her have an abortion. And again, upon learning about this, the outcome, she says to you, well, you don't have no say in the matter. You don't have no say about what goes on in my house.
yeah. But see, now that'll make me be ignorant. That'll make me come back with some harsh words like, well, since you saying something like that, then you gonna be the one dealing with the problem that's gonna come along with that. That which means the boyfriend and his issues and you know coming over, them fighting and all that stuff. You know that'll make you say some ignorant stuff like that. But you know it's you have to it you have to, you know, take a seat back and you know, try to go through the scenarios in your own head, how they feeling, that person, your daughter,
Mm-hmm.
your wife, how she's feeling at that time. Cause she might think that what she was doing was in the best interest of her daughter anyways, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's both of them are thinking that, both parents are thinking that, you know, but one feels like they shouldn't include the other because it she's a woman, you know, she you know her adversary, so to speak. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she's a woman. You know, she's a young woman at this time now that she's pregnant. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so I can understand a mother feeling that way, you know, feeling like that she should call the shots, you know, because if you have if you notice, you know, though they say girls are daddy's little girls and boys are mama's boys, that's just the same, really. Because I think every every mother feel like she got that bond and that her and her daughters can talk about anything. And the same with the father with his son. You know,
But in this situation, the mama has made the decision because this does not best fit
the
our
daughter,
family structure.
right,
So the solution is to abort the
abort,
baby because it's another mouth to feed,
right,
and it's another person that you have to provide guidance to. You have to oversee the upbringing of this child.
yes,
Sean,
yes,
you jump in.
Yep. Based off of the scenario that you gave,
Mm-hmm.
um, I would be hurt again, but I would have to understand it because if it's based off of the scenario of how you said it, that the mother made a decision because the child is in her home
Mm-hmm.
and although that's your child and you're doing your part to help take care of your child, this and the other, but if she's over there struggling and you're not doing anything
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm,
to help with
Yeah,
that, then she
yeah.
has that right to make that
yes, yes,
decision.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I may not agree with it, but I
Mm-hmm.
have to respect it
mm-hmm,
because
yes,
if I'm
yes,
not doing anything to make life better for them over there, if they get into a
Mm-hmm.
situation like that, then what say do I or should I have?
yes, yes,
Got it. All right.
That's just
So,
based off the scenario that you gave.
right.
mhm. So Robert and Gregory, do you guys agree with that, with Timmy and Sean's perspective?
I basically agree with Sean just said. Yeah, I pretty much agree.
All right,
I was,
Gregory.
I was gonna say, after given that the mother says that you have no, well, the baby's mother says that you have no say because you don't live in this household, I would then
That's
think
something
that
different.
I need to reassure my daughter's comfortability with talking to me, because it's clear that her mother feels that I shouldn't be included in anything. And if my daughter needs to come and tell me something, she should be able to come and tell me without her mother having
Mhm.
to say, "Oh, you don't have a say over here because you don't take care of nothing in this household." You get what I'm saying? Because if my daughter can come to me and I am in a financial position to help you before your mother makes the decision for you, because she feel as though this household can't have another mouth to feed, and you might feel like you want grandchildren at the time, so
Mhm.
you would want your daughter to be able to communicate with you even though you're not in that household, just in case, because that's just a situation where you're gonna be really upset and angry after you find out that life changing decisions are being made without you.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about health wise. A lot of women, um, they terminate the pregnancy due to health risk. So it might be they already determined that she's not going to be able to, if she carries this baby full term, this baby's going to have birth defects of sorts, or there's a risk that this mother can lose her life if she goes through with the pregnancy. She's aborting this baby due to the fact that it's causing her mental health issues because she was either raped or forced to have this child beyond her will. She had and there might be a situation she was molested, somebody forced himself upon her. These are all type of health issues, physical and mental. Um, so and this woman decides to terminate the pregnancy based upon a number of things. Let's go with the part about because it's going to cause her health issues. And she decides that it's not worth risking her life and complicating her health. And she brings this to your attention and tells you that she's going to terminate the pregnancy based upon it's causing her health issues. As a man, do you feel that you have a say in that termination of that pregnancy?
Yes. Yes, because okay, if you if she's saying is affecting her health, then you don't want to be selfish and risk her life. You know, you want to assure her that everything's fine. You know,
Okay, so
we
you said
didn't.
that the only decision that you have, only say, would be to support her in the termination of the pregnancy due to it
Yes,
bring
to
about health.
get her help. Yes, yes.
Okay, Sean.
Um, yeah, I believe that I probably have a say, but more I'll be concerned with being able to voice my opinion on the matter. But it would
Mm-hmm.
ultimately leave the decision up to she.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Gregory.
Yeah, I would have to be considerate of what she's going through. So my opinion
Mm-hmm.
probably would have something to do with an alternative, a foster care, or adopting a baby.
Well,
Yes, yes.
in this situation, is that's not an option because she's terminating the pregnancy due to health issues.
No,
Right.
It
I'm
cost her
saying
her life.
I would be considerate of that and let her go through with her decision, because she can die from
Yeah.
having a baby, and
So you would
I would
support her decision.
suggest an alternative or something.
Well,
But
really, there
what's
is no.
the alternative? Well, yeah, what's the
It's
alternative?
life. It's
Yeah,
life
no,
threatening.
to adopt a child, because
No, he's
I would
saying
She can't. She
support her
can't
with getting
carry
the
it.
no.
abortion
What
in that
he's
case.
saying is that he would support her in her health, but he also
And
he
in the
would
getting abortion
other
part, I
other
would agree with
alternative.
her. but
Yeah,
There is, there,
Meaning later on down the line,
blind.
she can
Yes, yes,
yeah,
adopt
that's
or
what
something.
he's meaning to
Okay,
uh,
say.
can adopt.
or
Gotcha.
something. You definitely should get
okay,
the
okay.
abortion.
All right, all
Gotcha.
right.
Gotcha.
Got you. We
Okay.
got you now. So I thought you were saying that she can carry the baby full term, even though it
No,
was
Nah,
causing her.
No.
All
nah.
right,
she
all right,
needs to have an abortion if she's gonna die.
Right. If
got you.
it's
All right. So
concerning her health,
your decision would be to support her decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Robert?
Okay.
My decision is to support her decision. If she's gonna die on the operating table, yeah, she needs to go with aborting child. If she's been raped and it's gonna mess with her mental state, she needs to go with aborting the child. I'm
mhm.
I'm all for her best health,
And
her well being.
yeah,
Definitely,
Like
because she could have a stillborn
like
birth or something, and
like
they both die.
even if she
Mhm.
couldn't carry later on in life, like Greg was saying, adoption's a possibility. I just know that God has a greater plan when things like
Mhm.
this happens.
Mhm.
sometimes
So,
sometimes it's just not meant to be. You
so
know.
gentlemen, I would say this to you. There are counterparts. There are women that believe that this conversation should not and could not take place because they did not feel like we were sensitive enough to take their feelings and their emotions into consideration. They felt that men are too
What type
selfish.
of men you talking to though?
That's
What
that's
type of
that's
men? That it all
Mm,
depends on the type of man that you talking to.
that's right. So
well
when
said.
How do you guys feel that men aren't allowed in the back of abortion clinics?
yes,
But 74% of the abortion physicians are are male. Excuse me.
go ahead.
And then
Um,
62 of that 74% have practiced this abortion physician position for over 30 years or longer. So
so
these male abortionists, they have been performing for over 30 years or longer. They've been performing abortions this long.
Well, here you can in the slavery days when the masters was raping the slave, you know, some of them were doing their own aborting because they didn't want to have a baby by the master, and so some of them was doing their own aborting. You know,
Does that go back to medieval things too? Because like we talked about the other day, Uncle D,
Where I
the
brought up
Egyptians practiced a more natural way of abortion where it wasn't Planned Parenthood's thoughts of abortion, where they're
it
inducing
basically was before
abortion.
surgery.
so yes,
They had them doing exercises and stuff to abort babies. So
yeah,
it was a lot of different exercises, diving off of cliffs.
strenuous
strenuous.
activities that would bring
Yes,
about
yes,
the loss of the baby, a miscarriage.
yes. That's
Um,
basically what we called it, a miscarriage, and they calling it an abortion.
mhm. So I would say this to you guys. At this time and date where they have been debating these issues for a very long time. I remember I wrote a paper in high school, a position paper,
And
and
they still
and they're
doing it
still
now.
arguing about this. And my position paper was based upon pros and cons of abortion. So I had to argue both sides. And my grade the, basically determined the outcome if I was going to receive my diploma at the time. And I thought that was crazy because I was like, you go to 12 years of school and now you got to write a paper where if someone's going to read it and they don't agree with your argument, that it's going to decide your whole career in school, your scholastic career. But and we fast forward to present day, they're still debating these same issues, and I don't think that it's a right or wrong answer. And I'll tell you
Right.
why. And I'll tell you
Mhm.
why. This is my views on it. I purposely didn't give you my stand. I didn't pick a side, but I'm going to tell you why. I'm pro-choice, but my choice is life. You see? So if I have to make a choice, my choice is going to be to try to preserve life if possible, but depending on the circumstance, the environmental factors, economical factors, the woman's mental health, the woman's reasons for terminating the pregnancy. And when we talk about life, we're talking about everybody's life that's involved. The potential baby, the mother,
father.
we're talking about preserving their life and making their life better. If this having this child is going to affect this woman's mental health and it's going to make her less than a mother than what she could be, then do we want to do that to her? Some people
No,
will say
because
endure it, but
Well,
I don't think that would be fair to her or the child, let alone
well,
you, because if you have somebody that's less than who they can be mentally or mental health wise, that's going to bring about more issues for you too. As
but
the
see,
as,
but see, that's why they have parenting classes. And back
Mhm.
then we didn't have no parenting class. You had to learn on the fly. You
But
know,
Timmy, my point is, I don't think someone else's choice for what this woman does regarding having the baby or terminating the baby is going to make a difference if this woman is adamant about terminating the pregnancy. She's already made up her mind. That's what she wants to do.
exactly, and that's
Or
what
resolve any
and the
discussion.
system is set up that way for the women to feel that way. My point of saying that men aren't allowed in the back of the abortion clinics. You get what I'm saying? And that women are the ones that receive they receive
Therapy.
therapy for after they have an abortion, and the
Let,
men
let's
isn't
let's
yeah,
let's stay
allowed
yeah,
let's stay
to
right
true.
have
there.
therapy
They
after the
have
Let's
to
abortion.
let's
because
let,
it's a psychological issue now because they might feel some type of way after it's done. You
let's
know,
let's
No,
let's
but a
stay
man
right
should
there.
be able to
Let's
have therapy too,
Jump in there,
because
David.
sorry, my fault.
yeah, let's stay right there. So I'm gonna tell you guys this, right? Think about this. You got a situation where these women, right, when they're bringing life into the world, they get to make a choice if the man is present in the room, but they give
yeah,
you the option at that time. Let me finish. They give
Mm-hmm.
you the option at that time if you want to be a part of the process, the delivery process. But when it comes to terminating the child, you're not given that option.
it's
See,
private.
in some
It,
situations, the decision has already been made. So it's like it's a moot discussion. Whereas, why are you still having discussions about abortion? Because in the end, it does come down to what the woman wants to do and what society allows them to do.
yeah.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. But Sean, you wanted to say something?
No. I knew you was trying to jump in there to get that point out, and I was telling you to
Okay.
go right ahead.
All right. So, and guys, let's just be clear about this too, right? The therapy, yes, it's not a question about should the woman receive therapy. Yes, that's a traumatic situation for her, but it is also
Exactly.
traumatic to the
No, we
man
said
too.
men too. Men
No,
should.
no, that's what I just said. There's no question if the woman should receive it, but it's a traumatic situation. So if it's traumatic for the woman, it's traumatic for the man too. It's traumatic for everybody involved. So everybody should receive therapy according to what they need. The woman's going to need more based upon her body, her mind, and the man's going to need it based upon his mentals, and mental health can lead to a breakdown in physical health. You can become sick about these situations.
Yeah,
But I don't
But
think it's
I think is how you handle it, how you go about handling things. Because if if a woman is going through mental state and you know she's having breakdowns, crying over that she aborted the baby. Now, if a real man, he would stick by her side and tell her, you know, baby, that's okay. It's gonna be all right. You know, we can try again. If it don't work, we can go through necessary steps to do fertility thing, or if that don't work, then we can go for adoption. You know,
Okay.
Timmy,
there's
let
plenty
me
of
push.
things that you can
Yeah.
do, but you know, you have to be there for that woman when she's going through things like that. You know,
Okay.
Can I
and
push back
have
on that a little bit?
yep.
Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
All right, just based off just on one thing that Timmy said. I know you didn't mean it in a disrespectful way, but when you said like a real man should be able to stand by his woman and this, that, da, da, da.
Yeah,
Until you're in that situation, you don't know how emotionally that could affect you.
that's true. That's true.
And so, although I get what you're saying that a man should be there for a woman, this, that, and the other, but again, we're now putting our emotions and our feelings to the back burner because of someone else. And so being there for that individual would have this and the other, then who's gonna be there for you when you feel a certain kind of way?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And you
saying?
guys,
Yeah, yep, that's true. That's
and you
true.
guys,
But
and
if
Timmy,
you
hold on, Timmy. Let me say this. That's what you guys have displayed throughout this discussion. Your ability to be selfless. Because you guys have said several times how you would put your emotions on the back burner to attend to hers based upon the situation. And can you all agree to that?
yes.
Yeah.
All right. So again, when some of our counterparts, our female counterparts, has said that men are too selfish to have this conversation, I beg to differ because you
Right.
guys have proven otherwise. You know, and it's something that all of you guys appear to be very passionate about. It's like you are putting this woman's needs before yours based upon the situation, circumstances. But everybody is in agreement that you just want to be informed. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Sir.
You want to be a part of you want to be a part of the decision making. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Sir.
All right. So let me say this because we're gonna wrap up. So let's just do a recap. When it comes to a woman deciding to have an abortion based upon because she was raped or it brings about health issues, you guys are in agreement that it should be the woman's decision and the woman's decision alone. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So when it comes down to the point where young girls having abortions and the decision was made by the mother because she's the one that is raising the child's living within the home, you guys feel that it should be based upon the mother's decision because she's the one that is economically affected by it, and if you're not doing anything to make that situation better, then it should be the woman's decision. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Okay. So now if it's now when it comes down to being married or in a long-term relationship, because I'm not talking about a one-night stand and the woman decides to take the plan B and terminates the baby, or she goes and have an abortion
That's
because she
a
found
form
out
of
later on
contraceptive.
that she's pregnant. Yeah, because let's be clear about this. Abortion is
Plan
not a form
B,
of birth control.
no,
Abortion
right.
should not be used as a form of birth control. You should be practicing safe sex. You should be using contraceptives. Abortion is the
That's why
extreme.
they got the Plan B. That's what Plan B is
No,
part
but
of
OG, hold on.
contraception.
Let me hit y'all with this fact real quick because
Mhm.
for Planned Parenthood, 1.6 billion, they make 1.6 billion a year. And
Mm-hmm.
95% of that, this is the people that are doing birth control. This Planned Parenthood is for birth control. 95% of that is from abortion.
Wow. Now let me just stop right there. And just hearing that, and that's a good way to end this topic, because I'm going to tell you something right now. Based upon those facts, that means there's a greater issue going on, right?
Yes, sir.
And when people want to keep this division going, men against woman, the woman's decision versus the man's decision, that is so they don't pay attention to the true issue at hand.
That they already
And
made.
it is that's they're making profit off of human beings' emotions, right?
Well,
It's an
well,
emotional
I gotta
profit.
say this too, because it's mainly the African American and Hispanic population,
and
the
again,
minority population.
And again, that's why it would behoove us, it would be more conducive for us to have a joint conversation with our female counterparts regarding this issue, because it's an issue that it's not about us disagreeing with them. It's about us being a part of the decision making process. We don't want to be alienated, and we don't want to complicate it, make it worse for them. We have opinions about this, and we have selfless solutions to a lot of these issues. But I think that it serves society and the powers that be to keep us at odds in, where we don't have discussions with each other, because these same individuals making decisions about us and abortion in our communities, those people, they don't deal with us on a day in and day out situation. The individuals that we decide to have families with, that's who we should be having these discussions with. Correct. And the women that feel like the men should not have no say at all, then I think you need to do some soul searching, and you need to check yourself, and you need to evaluate the type of men that you are dealing with, because we have clearly shown that we are not those type of men that you guys are referring to when you say that we're too selfish to have this conversation, because we would be when we're not sensitive enough, and we wouldn't show enough empathy, because we have clearly dispelled that myth. Are you guys in agreement to that?
Yeah,
Definitely.
Okay, so this has been another great discussion. This has been another great discussion. And I was about to say, because I'm disgusted with the fact that people would believe that we're not capable of having this discussion. But we've done it, and you guys have been very articulate, and you've done a great job. I appreciate you guys participating in this topic, this discussion. You guys, I'm telling you, I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud as to how you guys conducted yourself. And Gregory, you provide us with lots of facts and stats, and that's what needed.
Yes,
and we
sir.
stayed within the topic. We discussed this like adult, mature men. So again, this is the Still a Man podcast show, and we have just successfully completed our discussion on abortion and should men have a say. And just so you know, ladies, there will be a third conversation regarding this matter, where it will be a joint discussion with both men and women. Until next time, God bless you all.
God bless.
God bless.